New York Attorney General Letitia James' entire world is crashing down around her as we speak, and it is something to see. On Tuesday, the Department of Justice received a criminal referral from the U.S. Federal Housing Finance Agency against Tish James. This allegation is one of the most ironic that we have ever heard. Tish James, who spent the last few years alleging Donald Trump's business was messing with asset valuations to get lower interest rates, has allegedly committed fraud to get lower interest rates. Also, an array of other likely crimes. Again, this is an unbelievable story tonight. It almost seems too good to be true, but the evidence looks to be rock solid. We're going to talk to the guy that dug it up here in just a couple of minutes, the man that found all of this. The media is now on the hunt for Tish James. She's being stalked. Cameras were outside of her home earlier today. Her piece is now over, and it's so well-deserved. It appears New York's Attorney General has lied about her principal residency, lied about rental income, lied about the number of units in a townhouse she owns to gain a lower interest rate. Also indications she flew private on taxpayer dime for campaign events, and claimed that her dad was her husband for special benefits on a mortgage. There are an array of allegations here, and they all seem very, very solid. Again, it's an amazing story. And knowing all of this, and she did know all of this because she's the one that did it, here is how she has sounded for the last couple years when she talks about Donald Trump.
Running for Attorney General because I will never be afraid to challenge this illegitimate president when our fundamental rights are at stake.
Oh, we're going to definitely sue him. We're going to be a real pain in the He's going to know my name personally.
Donald Trump may have authored the art of the deal, but he perfected the art of the steal.
And I'm not afraid of Donald Trump. You can come after me, but no enemy, nothing formed against me will perish. I'm not afraid of no president. Donald Trump, we're ready for you. We're coming for you.
Trash. This is so good. It is so good. James' response to these allegations coming from her office was not good at all. Attorney General James is focused every single day on protecting New Yorkers, especially as this administration weaponizes the federal government against the rule of law and the Constitution. Yes, they actually wrote this today. She will not be intimidated by bullies, no matter who they are. Read that a few times, laugh to yourself, because it is funny. And that was nowhere near any kind of a denial either. If you actually look at the statement, they don't deny a thing. That might tell you something. Tish James alleged the president and his business committed fraud by engaging in activities done by pretty much every single developer who's ever developed anything. Maximizing valuations when borrowing against assets to secure better interest rates from the bank. Trump's own bank, Deutsche Bank, which he allegedly defrauded, according to Tish James, even testified in his defense in the trial. There was no victim, and yet because we're in New York, which of course is absent an unbiased justice system politically anymore, Trump was mandated to pay nearly $400 million for this nonsense that this woman completely invented. And let's not even get into the E. Jean Carroll and all the other chaos he's been through in this city. Just ridiculous what he went through. Remember all that he went through before this last election, all the walls he had to break down. A completely invented crime this was, which, of course, Tish James sold as legitimate.
White-collar financial crime is not a victimless crime. When the well-connected break the law to take in more money that they are entitled to, it reduces resources to working people, to regular people, to small businesses, and to all taxpayers. Everyday people cannot lie to a bank about how much money they have in order to get a favorable loan to buy a home or to send their kid to college. And if they did, the government would throw the book at them.
Big Tish was such a terrible actress, such a phony, such a fraud. And the best part of the story, well, this is probably the best part of the story, but a great part of the story was that she herself directly contributed to the president winning that last election in a landslide. Her and a few others, you know the names. The weaponization was so clear. It was so vivid to everybody. It was so obvious. Trump's base grew. leading to that landslide victory in November that most thought was absolutely impossible if you would have asked them in January of 2021. Nobody ever thought he could climb back up that hill. Hey, Tish James, I know you're not watching, but you made it happen. Tish James was exposed as little more than a city rat over the past year or two, a bottom feeder who used her race and gender to ascend to the top of New York politics, which would be impressive, except in today's society, as you know from watching what's happening to our major cities, our bluest states, we have decided to let the most unimpressive people that we have govern all of us. People who win elections with rhetoric like this.
Stand up to an administration which is too male, too pale, and too stale. Too male, too pale, and too stale. Too male, too pale, and too stale. Too male, too pale, too stale. And we will not go away silently.
Too male, too pale, and too stale. This is how we're going to start choosing government now, based on how colorful and how not male it is. This is the kind of nonsense you have to listen to when you live here in New York. These are the people that lead our communities. How sad is that?
If you enjoy this content, please consider subscribing to my channel to stay up to date with future videos. Thank you for watching.